Hey there, I'm Daryl the artist, and today we're going to do the advanced tutorial for Design Doodler from the Deers Embroidery Legacy. Great program, love it. Anyways, this is the artwork that we're going to digitize. I have it printed out at the same size I'm going to digitize it at, and I have a large format printer so I can do that. And I'm also going to put it up on a screen, my secondary screen that I have above my working tablet for more references. But you might not have a big printer and you might not have a secondary monitor, so just print it up at whatever size you can and to use as reference. But if you can, at the size you're digitizing it at, it helps with figuring out what size stitches to use, etc. And as always, I have my trusty template of stitches and sizes from the Design Doodler menu, and these are all the default ones. And I can go in to the settings after and tweak these a bit if I want, but these are the templates. The tapered, calligraphy, pressure, the steel stitch, bean stitch, run stitch, and the different fills with the different densities. Anyways, I'm just going to put that over there. I'm going to get my drawing over here where I can keep an eye on it. And now we're going to open up Design Doodler. Okay, so I've got Design Doodler opened up on the screen. I'm going to maximize that. And I'm going to import my artwork. Actually, let's set up our hoop first. I think I've already got it set for the size I want. We'll go settings, go to hoops, and looks like I got a 360 by 200 millimeter hoop. That's what I want. So I'll close that. I'll come up to this button here and I'll open my hoop. Let's bring that down. Set it on our screen. Okay, so that's the size hoop I'm going to use, and that matches up to the size of the artwork I'm going to use. So let's import the artwork. Kid and butterfly drawing. I'm going to open that. I'm going to bring that in. It's a bit rather large, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to go to properties. I'm going to select maintain aspect ratio, and I'm going to play with the height. I'm going to go 190. Enter that. And put that into the middle of my screen. And that's about perfect. That's about what I want. I'm going to center that as best as I can. I'm going to lower the opacity. And I'm going to change the color of the background to one that I like to work with, that allows me to see the colors as I lay them down on the screen. Okay, and if you saw my last two videos, I like to keep properties opened up and I like to keep my sequence view, and I like to keep them on separate sides. I also like to keep my design information open. Okay, so let's grab the zoom button. Let's zoom in, and now let's look at what we're going to do. I think I'm going to start out with the flesh first. I'm going to start here. I'm going to move up to here. I'm going to move over to the arm. I'm going to move down to the thumb. That's the only flesh I have to do. And then after that, I can tackle different colors. It doesn't matter which one I start first or second or third. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to do the flesh first, just because it's something I usually do. Okay, so let's get started on the flesh here. So I'm going to zoom right into that spot where the elbow is on the far arm, and I'm going to grab my fill. I'm going to grab my flesh color, which on my color palette is number 25. There's a whole bunch of color palettes. I'm sure John's gone over that. But I like to use the Brother palette. It's basic, it's simple. I mean, I choose whichever thread I want to choose when I choose the thread. It doesn't matter what I got down for the palette. But I'm going to start up at this point up here. And I'm going to draw on that black line that will eventually be a steel stitch to cover up. I'm going to select that. I am going to put a perpendicular and contour outline underlay on there, give it some structure. And now I'm going to move it over to here, and I'm now going to go run stitch, and I'm going to go from this point here up under the black over to where my head is. Okay, so let's grab a run stitch. Let's get close to that line, close to the end point there, and I'm going to run it under what will eventually be that black steel stitch, stat stitch, whatever you want. Okay, I'm going to go to there. Now I am going to pan that down, and I can't fit the whole thing on there, so I'm going to choose zoom out. I'm going to zoom out once or twice, I think it did, and then I'm going to make sure my whole face is in the screen for my next fill. Okay, I'm going to grab fill again. He's such a nice guy. Okay, now I'm going to draw again under the black, as smooth as possible. Don't worry too much, you can always adjust the nodes after. One of the reasons why I have this glove on is so I can draw a little bit more smoothly. Okay, I'm going to go there, and perfect. I'm going to select that fill. I'm going to go perpendicular, contour on that. And now I want to run a run stitch from that point over to the arm. But I'm going to run it to the bottom of the arm. So let's get that whole arm in there and the area where I'm going to do the run stitch from, so I don't have to readjust it. Okay, so now I'm going to grab the run stitch, and I'm going to go up and over. And now I'm going to grab the fill, and I'm going to put the fill on that arm. Up the hand, up around the thumb, nice and smooth. The glove helps with that. And again, be as smooth as possible, but don't worry too much, because you can always adjust nodes if you have to. Okay, got the next object. Going to go up here to my sequence view. I'm going to select that object. I'm going to come down to perpendicular and contour, and then I'm going to unselect it, and then I'm going to move down. I've got one other thing to do, and that is the thumb. So I'm going to grab the run stitch again, and I'm going to run it all the way down to the thumb. Now I can go to the fill, and I am going to put a fill on that thumb. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to put an underlay on that. And now I am done with my flesh tone. And okay, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's zoom out, get it all in there, and let's look at a 3D portion of that. And there we go. Start at the elbow, up to the face, over to the arm, down to the other thumb. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now what other color do we want to do? I'm going to go back to the regular view, and I'm going to move it down. I think let's do the hair. Okay, so the hair is in, let's zoom out a little bit more so we can talk about this. The hair is in, the color for the hair, sorry, is in 4 different locations. I have the hair, I have the butterfly, I have the pencil, and I have his shoes. They're all the same orangey yellow color. So I can create a fill on the hair run down to the pencil, run down to the foot, but with the butterfly I'm going to have to do that as a separate trim, separate object. So let's go over to sequence view, let's gather up our flesh tone color, and now I am going to zoom in to my butterfly. I'm going to do that first, get that out of the way. And I'm going to look at it. Like the butterfly, it's going to be small, so I don't think I'm going to use any underlay on the fill, because I'm going to be throwing red and black on top of it to create details, and white also. So I am just going to create probably 1, 2, and 3 fills connected by a couple run stitches. So I'm going to go grab my fill. I'm going to choose which color I want to do, and I'm going to choose number 16 on my palette. And I'm going to start here, and I'm going to just create a nice easy fill with no underlay. I'm going to do a run stitch from there to there. I'm going to grab another fill, and I'm going to the fill to there. I'm going to grab another run stitch, and I'm going to go to here. No, it did the same thing as it did last time, so I'm going to have to there. Okay, that's what it did. Okay, it tried to connect the run stitches again. Let's open up that harvest yellow color so I can keep an eye on my objects. Okay, let's grab a fill, and let's finish up the yellow portions that I need, and that should be it. See, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it there. I'm just going to have no underlay on that. Okay, so let's move over to the hair. Okay, I'm going to need to zoom out a little bit. Let's pan up. Okay, I want to start stop down here, so when I finish off I can continue my run stitch from that point. So I'm going to go fill, and anytime you use the pan, you remember you have to reselect your brush every time. Okay, so let's draw the fill around his hair. So as we discussed, we have one necessary trim so far. Okay. I might have to adjust some nodes there on the top, but like I said before, that's not a big issue. Let's select that. Let's do edit nodes, I mean. Sorry. And I'm going to do a couple things with move it into different areas here. Try and line it up so it's underneath the black better than it was when I laid it down. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's take it off that. Let's move it up. I'm going to do my next run stitch from here down to the pencil. So let's grab a run stitch. Let's go underneath the black. Okay, and I'm going to go down a little bit, about halfway down that pencil. Now I'm going to grab the fill. I'm going to start the fill underneath that line, so hopefully the next run stitch doesn't grab onto it. Okay, let's grab the next run stitch. Start down here. Oops, I can't do that. I got to move it up. And I want to travel all the way down to there. So let's reselect our brush. let's think about the best way to go over there. I'm going to go through the grass. Up to there. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to do the fill for the final fill of that color. There we go. Okay, one thing I didn't do on that was I should have created some underlay for that. So I'm going to, let's zoom out here. Let's bring that in. So I want to get the underlay in for the hair and the boots. I might as well do it for the pencil too, just because. So I'm going to grab the hair. I'm going to grab the pencil. And I'm going to grab the foot. And then I'm going to give it all an underlay all at once. And actually I want to change the angle on the hair. I want to go that way, a little different than the flesh beside it. I want to do the same thing on the pencil. I want to change the angle there, though I don't think that's going to be as necessary, but still a little bit. And then I want to change the angle of the boot to be the same, or the shoe. Let's look at a 3D of that. Okay, so now we have our second color laid down, and the next color we can do is red. So let's go back to the regular view, and the red is the shirt and red on the butterfly. So let's move down. Let's get ready to zoom in on the butterfly. Okay, so I've got two areas where, three areas. I think I'm going to do three or four fills. I don't know. Anyways, I got a little bit here, up there, over here, and over here. Okay, so actually let's get in a little closer to that. Okay, let's grab our fill. Let's grab our color. I'm going to do a nice red. Okay, so I'm going to be a little bit more purposeful on how I lay down the lines here, because it's sitting on top of the red. I mean, it's sitting on top of the yellow. So I want to cover up on the same sort of, I want to be drawing with the thread now on top of the yellow. Okay, so I'm going to get a run stitch now to connect that to my next red, which is over here. I'm going to go all the way up to here to do it. I'm going to grab my fill, and I'm going to do the same thing on that red that I did over there. Okay, now I'm going to grab my run stitch again, and I'm going to go down to here. And I'm going to grab my fill again. Oh, I got to pan over, reselect my brush, and then get some more red in there. Okay. So let's look at a 3D of that. See how I'm painting with the thread? Okay, so now I want to do another run stitch. Carry it over from there to there. And then I want to grab my last fill for the butterfly red. And I want to go paint on top of the yellow. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so let's zoom out. Let's pan up. Okay, let's look at that again from a little further out. Okay, good. Perfect. Okay, now I want to pan down to that shirt. I want to get all that shirt into fit on the screen. Okay, so this is going to be a separate object. It's like another necessary trim. So let's go fill, and no matter where we start. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I want to change. I want to come down, select that object. That one I'm going to put an underlay on, and I'm going to change the stitch angle of that. That's just a little bit different than the skin, and a little bit different than the hair. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's zoom out again. Okay, now we have 3 colors laid down. Next, maybe we want to do the blue of the pants. Okay, let's do that. Let's zoom in then to the pants. And I got a couple sections there to do. Over there, up, down. Okay, perfect. Let's grab, we can zoom in one more time. Let's pan up. Make sure it's all on the screen there. Let's grab our fill. Let's grab our color. I'm going to choose number 47 for now. Okay, so let's just start. Let's just start at the top. Go down. Kind of hard to see the line where I'm drawing. But I'm drawing around almost where that yellow thread is. Just drawing around the grass right now. Okay, coming up along the red, going under the drawing pad, now going back up to my original start point. And there we go. Oh, I can turn off 3D, sorry. Okay, let's grab that object. Let's play with the angle on that one. Let's angle it the same as the majority of the pant leg. Okay, let's select that object again. Let's put that underlay on there. Let's back up. Whoops, zoom out. Take a look at it again. Okay, good. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little bit of highlights in the hair. I'm going to grab it like slightly more orange red, like number 28 on my palette. I'm going to grab my run stitch. Oh, I'm going to put it back to regular view. Oops, and I'm going to zoom in on that hair. And I want to put some highlights on that hair. So I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to look at my drawing and look to see where I want to put some of the highlights in there. Okay. So I'm going to get a run stitch and I'm going to start up here. And just keep the stitches apart from each other, because I just want it to go nice and loosey-goosey on there. I don't want too much on there, just enough to give it a little bit of a shading quality, like it was done with a colored pencil. And then I'm going to move it under that black, over to the hair, over to the face, sorry, because I'm going to do a little bit on the face. And maybe a little bit up the arm a bit. So I'm going to go up the face a bit, back down, under the black over to the arm, and go up the arm a bit. Okay, move that down a bit. Okay, good. That's good for that. Let's zoom out again, and now what I want to do, I want to do the white. I want to do the white of the butterfly, and then the white of the book. Okay, so let's zoom in on the butterfly. Let's move that down. Okay, so let's grab a fill, and I am going to start with white. I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to move it up, down, there. Okay, I'm not going to do any underlay on that. I should have actually done the start step up there, but that's fine. I'm going to run my stitch up here to that point, then I'm going to grab a fill again and do the white up here. I'm not going to do any details on the white up here because the black on top of that is going to basically give the details. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's go down to the drawing pad, which is my next thing I want to do. I want to go slightly out, just slightly out. Let's go, yeah. Let's try 300 right now. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to want to do 3 separate objects within here. I want to do the facing part of the drawing page part of the pad, and then I want to do the side on a different angle, and then I want to do the paper that's hanging over on a totally different angle to give it a little bit of depth in the drawing. Okay, so I'm going to go back to a fill. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to create the object, first object, then I'm going to do a run stitch to where I create the second object, and then another run stitch to where I create the third object. I want it to be a continuous stitch without it combining, the program combining the fills together as one object, which can happen if you're not careful. So I just avoid the problem by basically throwing a run stitch between them, because I want to have the different angles. So I want them to have their each separate properties. I don't want the computer to think I want to combine it together. Okay, let's go down around that pencil, back down again. Okay, there we go. Like that. Perfect. Yeah, I'm not, the pencil, wood of the pencil, I'm just going to leave white. That's too small an area to really worry about too much changing that color. But what I want to do with this object is I want to change the angle. I want it to go straight up and down, or not straight up and down, with the angle of the paper. Okay, so now I want to grab my run stitch, and I just want to run it up to the top where I'm going to start the next one, the next fill. Grab my fill, come down and around and up. Okay, they got that fill there. So what I want to do is I want to do an angle on that, but I want the angle to be that way. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to do another run stitch, and this one here I'm just going to go to there. I didn't take it, jumped itself up, so because it thinks it's a run stitch, so I'm going to back that up, and I'm going to go there to there. I just turned off the snapped anchors for a second there. Okay, now I'm going to create that last little bit for the paper. Okay, and I want to change the angle of that. Excellent. Okay, so let's back up. I think I got all the white done now. Let's zoom out. Let's go to here. And I think, yeah, I got the, yeah, that's all the white I want to do. So now I want to do the grass. I'm going to do the grass in, 2 or 3 different sections. And I'm going to start it at this point here, go across, and then let go so I get a nice straight line on the bottom. So the run stop, the start stop will be around this area here. So I'm not going to worry about connecting that with a run stitch because it's not going to affect anything on the other fill. So I'm just going to continue on with that. Maybe I'll just do two separate objects then, and that'll work out just fine. So let's zoom in a little bit more there. Let's move this over so I can see that whole thing on the screen. Okay, so now I want to do a fill. I want to choose my green, my base green, which I'm going to do as a 43 on my palette. And again, I'm going to grab that fill again. Okay, so I'm going to go slightly below the bottom here because I want to add a little bit more green to the bottom. So I'm going to go up here, and then I'm just going to go around the grass. I'm not going to try to do any sharp angles with fills because I might risk overlapping the line, which can cause problems. And do a little bit more of a curve. I should have 3D off, but I'm going to go with it for now. Okay. Coming out of that red now, I can come down the other green. You know what? I think, yeah, okay, see that's what it looks like. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to do this off of 3D, and I'm going to do it with purple, just so you can see it better. Okay, so let's go fill. Let's try that again. We're going to start down in this area down here. And go slightly below that, the bottom of the grass of my drawing. I'm going to try and do a little bit smoother lines, and on here I'm not going to try and do any pointed edges. That'll help with the fill. The pointed edges, you risk crossing over your lines, which can cause problems. So I try to avoid sharp points in fills. Just take your time. Go under the black line. Okay, and let go. Okay, now I want to grab that, change the angle of that. I want the angle to go straight up and down on that one. Okay, so let's see what that looks like that way. Perfect. Okay, so now I want to move over and get the rest of that green. Okay, so I'm not going to change the properties of the grass. This grass is going to have the same angle, so if it connects together, I'm not going to worry too much about it. If it doesn't, and I'm hoping it just takes up where we left off as far. Oh, I got to just a sec here. Start that over again. I got a bit of too much of a pointed angle there. Okay, this looks good. Okay, don't go down too far. You can always adjust it later. Okay, remember going slightly under that and let go. Perfect. Okay, so now let's grab that object and let's change that straight up and down. Okay, let's go 3D. There we go. Okay, so now we can grab that whole object and we can put it to the proper color we want. Change it to green. I just did that so you could see it. So let's zoom out. Take a look at it. Okay, it looks good. Okay, now I want to do a little bit of the highlights in the grass. Just a simple run stitch. Okay, so let's turn 3D off and let's get in a little closer and let's choose our color. Let's grab those colors, put them together so we get all our colors in the sequence view together and start a new color. And I want to do actually 41. I like 41. A little bit of a yellow green. Try and match that up with my threads. Okay, and let's do a run stitch. And we're just going to start over here. And just play with the direction of the grass. We're not trying to create too complex of a highlight here. Anyways, stop there, and then pick it up again. And there we go. That's what I wanted. Looks good. Okay, so now I think we got everything laid down. Let's move it down, take a look. I think the only thing I have left to do now is black. Okay, let's zoom in to that butterfly. Okay, so I'm going to use a series of run stitches and fills to do this. So I'm going to start with black. And I'm going to start on the antenna. I'm going to go up and down twice on both antennas with the run stitch. I'm going to connect the points together as I do it at the end, but I'm going to slightly go wider as I come down. So when it stitches out, it gives it a little bit of a calligraphy effect to it with just a run stitch. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to go up, stop, come back down, go slightly wider, and then come to a point again, go back up, slightly wider in the middle, go to a point, back down, slightly wider, go to a point. There you go. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. Up, down, up, down. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move my run stitch over to here. And then now I'm going to go fills. I'm going to start doing fills in this area here. And I'm going to go up. See how much of this I can get. You gotta remember that the butterfly is quite small on the printout. Maybe on the stitch out anyways. And I gotta worry about that white up there too. Okay, so that's about all I'm going to do on this fill. Anyways, when I'm talking about the white is I got to figure out a way to do the black on there with allowing the white to show through for the details. Okay, so let's get our run stitch together here. Let's run back down to here. Whoops, that didn't work. Let's try it again. Keeps connecting to the run stitch, so I'm going to go for here. Yeah, there we go. That worked. Okay, so now I'm going to do another fill. I'm going to try and do it like that. Oh no, I kept doing a run stitch. That wasn't supposed to be a run stitch. Sorry. Back that up. Let's go fill. Okay, now we can do that. Okay. And where do I want to go now? I want to come up towards this area here. So I'm going to grab a run stitch and I'm going to run up to here. Okay, I gotta run it to there. Okay. Then I'm gonna run my fill up here. As much of that as I can here. Okay, take another look at it. Okay, starting to build up the details there. Looking good. Okay, grab another run stitch to there. Let's grab a fill again. Let's fill up most of that area. The fill. Let's grab a run stitch. And now we're going to do a series of run stitches that are going to cover over part of that white, but not all of it. Here, let's move down a bit so we can see it better. Grab that run stitch again. Okay. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to throw some run stitches in there, back and forth over here. And I'm just going to be, loose about where I drop the lines. I'm not going to worry too much about it. It's going to give the illusion of detail. Okay, so I'm not worried too much about the run stitch connecting because I got the snap to anchors on. As long as I have that on, it will continue the run stitch. Should anyways. Okay. Okay, I got some spots in here. Come around there. Like, I'm not following a game plan here, I'm just going with my gut. What I think is going to look good. I mean, that's all about embroidery, is just okay. Look, I don't know if all those ones are connecting. That's okay, I can gather them all up after. If some of them didn't connect, I can use the automatic branching tool. As long as it's all run stitches, it'll automatically branch them all. So you have to remember, I want some of that. I don't know why it's doing this. It seems to be doing some weird stuff here. Anyways, I'm just going to use that automatic branching tool. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm just going to do easy details here. Let's move that up again. Believe me, it's going to look good when it's done. It's all about experimenting anyways. I'm going to put a nice steel stitch around here anyways. Okay, let's back up a little bit. Let's zoom out a little bit. And then put that on there. I like that. Let's go out even further. So when it stitches out, it's going to kind of look like that. That's a good representation of it. It's going to look good. But I want to put a steel stitch around it for a nice smooth edge. Actually, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find the last object I did, the last fill I did, which I think was that, or was it that? See, that one, that was the first one. That was the first run stitch. So I'm going to grab all the run stitches under that one that didn't connect. And I'm going to make them branch into one object. There we go, see? See, I got run stitch to a fill, the run stitch to a fill, run stitch to a fill, run stitch to a fill, run stitch. Okay, so that should work good. Okay, good. Okay, where is the end point on that one though? That's what I'd like to know. And it's right there. Okay, so I'm going to start my steel stitch right there, and hopefully it'll connect to it. So get my steel stitch, and let's look at my trusty template and my trusty and my printed out drawing. So I'm not going to need too much of a steel stitch. I'm going to go a steel stitch. I think I am just going to go for a 1mm steel stitch. I think that'll look good around the butterfly. Okay, so let's go steel stitch. There's a 1mm steel stitch. Good. And let's go back to where that object was and what the start stop is. What's going on here? Start that. There it is, right there. Okay, right there. So that's where I want to start the steel stitch. It's right there. So I'm going to go around. Looks thick, but it won't be. Yeah, I just want to go around the outside of that. Make it nice and clean. Boom! I hope that worked. I think it did. Let's go back out a bit. Let's do that. Yeah, I think it looks good. Okay. Okay, so let's zoom out some more and decide where are we going to go from here. I've got some running stitch details on the inside. I think I'm going to do those. First, keeping together, I think I'm going to have a couple trims. I'm going to have probably 3 trims in the hair, and then the rest I'll be able to connect as I go down. So let's start with the hair. Might as well get the ones that I'm going to do. Whoops. Let's zoom in. Okay, so I don't want them connecting, so I'm going to turn off anchor for now. I'm going to grab my run stitch. I'm not going to need as short of a stitch on that, and still on black. Okay, so I'm going to go one there, one there, one there, one there. Okay, I think those are the only ones I'm going to do. So that's 3 trims right there. The rest I'm going to do as a connection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather up my black for now. I'm going to choose that purple color to do my black. I'm going to I'm going to put my snap to anchor back on. I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to start with the hair. I'm going to start right down here. Okay, let's do that. Let's get the run stitch, and let's start drawing. Using the purple for now, just so you can see it. And I'm going to go up under the eventually black outline so it can hide some of the stuff. Good. That's what I want to do. And okay, what I'm going to do, keep an eye on it, is I'm going to keep my sequence view open, just to make sure that that is connecting. So I'm not creating yeah, it's connecting. See, it's still one object. So I'm not creating multiple objects here. I'm going to try to figure out what to combine later. Okay. Okay, let's move that. It's going to look good, I think. Okay, the next part is I got to go over to the arm. So I want to run all the way up to there. Okay, so let's make sure we get that in there so I can see it. I'm going to run down to eventually be under the black outline. And I go up, around to the top there, come down with some details. There you go. Still one object. That's good. Okay, I can come down the shirt, stop at the bottom, come up the paper. It's all going to be eventually black. Okay, so remember, every time you do the pen, you got to hit the brush again. You got to reselect your brush. Okay, so let's go up and down all the way. Let's move that down a bit. Oh, it didn't connect. Look at that. See? That didn't connect for some reason. So let's delete that. Another good reason to hold on to that. Let's make snap to anchors is on. Grab that run stitch. Okay. Let's see, hopefully this works better. Let's try it before we go any further. Yep, still one object. Okay. I just didn't select the proper point when I started. See, grabs it. Let's go up here. I forgot to do that in the first place anyway, so it's kind of good that worked out. Still working on one object. That's good. Let's go down the front of the shirt. I'm not really spending a lot of time doing this sort of details. I'm not worrying about how it lays down. I want it to be a little bit, loose. Okay, let's go up the paper now. I want it to look like I drew it. Okay, and over here. Okay. Now I want to run down again. So took a look at my drawing here for reference. Okay. I want to go over to here now. Okay, still one object. That's good. Let's go underneath. Okay, still one object, that's good. Okay, I want to go down here, put a little bit more down there, and then I want to come back up that leg. Uh-oh. That last bit didn't connect. I'm taking that off again. I'm going to go back to this one here. And I'm going to go till I get that red dot. Let's see if it works that time. Yeah, it kept it together. So you really got to watch that. You got to be careful. Here, let's get that line there. Let's go up that a couple times. A little bit more thickness. Same that line there. Let's go up. A little bit more thickness. Okay, still one object, that's good. Let's go over here. Okay, so let's come back up that grass to get to the next point. Okay. So you understand the process of traveling. You're trying to hide it underneath something else, right? Okay. I think that worked. Look at that. You know, I probably should have been that careful when I was doing the butterfly, and then I wouldn't have had to gone back in and branch it all. But there it is. That looks good. Okay, so let's go down here. Okay, that's it. Now I can get on to the outline. The outline is the last thing I have to do. Okay, so let's look at our trusty template and our thing. Okay, so I'm looking like I'm going to want to do a 2mm steel stitch around that. I think a 2mm is going to look good. It's going to match up pretty good to the ink lines that I used on my drawing. It's going to look pretty thick on the page, on the screen, but it's not going to be that bad. I'm going to keep it the same color. No, I can't do that because I don't want to. Yeah, I want to start at the same point, which is down there. I'm going to keep it down there, and hopefully it connects to it when I change it to black. I mean, when I change the purple to black. But this, the first, I'm sorry, I'm confusing the issue here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a lot of lines for the steel stitches, and I'm not going to worry about connecting them. I just want to get them down, and then I want to use the branching. It is the best way to do that sort of a detail, which is why I like this program so much. I like the way it does the automatic branching on when I'm doing all the outlines and stuff. So anyway, so I got to change that royal purple. Oh no, I can do it in black. I just leave that as purple and then do the rest as black. Okay, so let's hide that thing. Remember, that's where my start is here. I want to change my color back to black. I want to grab a steel stitch, and I want to do 2mm steel stitch. I'm going to start right there. So let's zoom in. Whoops, I got to go and zoom out right now. Let's zoom in. Let's get rid of that color palette. Okay, there's all the details I want to work on. So I am going to start now with my steel stitch. And it's going to look pretty thick. But I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to start drawing lines. And I'm not going to worry about that they're connecting or not. I'm just going to start drawing lines. I'm going to use the automatic branching. And because I'm doing it all one color, separate from all the other colors in the sequence view, I'll be able to grab all the objects and turn it into a single object. I'll show you that in a bit. I think I showed it to you in the last tutorial too. I just love this aspect of it. Okay. Oh, I don't like the way that dropped down there. Let's where is that one? That's that one there. Let's adjust those nodes here. I want that up a bit. Yeah, I don't want it dipping that far down. Nope. Just gotta find that sweet spot in there. Let's get closer and know that. Let's go back to that thing. Let's get the nodes there. There, that's better. Okay. Let's take that off. Let's go back to our steel stitch. And we can go back over here. Let's start all the way up there if we want. I'm not worried about any of these jumps and tribs that are popping up because I know what I'm trying to get here. Okay, let's continue on. Oops. There you go. Okay. Another line down here. Oops, I don't know why it stopped. I guess because I lifted my pen off the screen. But again, I'm not worrying too much about that with this because I am just putting down lines. That's why I love that automatic branching feature. Let's go up here. Let's move it down. Continue on. Okay, there's a couple places there where I should have had more run stitches when I did the purple. I'll have to add those in as details afterwards. It'll probably end up being a couple unnecessary trims in there, but that's fine. This stuff is for fun. If I was doing something I wanted to set up for production, I'd probably be using one of the bigger boys programs. But for simple, inexpensive designs for your own use, there's nothing better than a nice, easy program that's not too expensive. Okay, there we go. Remember, after you pan, you have to reselect your tool. Oh, I don't like the way that line fell. There we go. Try that again. That's better. It wasn't covering up the colors properly underneath it. Yeah, smooth that over. I can't see it as much. Reselecting my brush. let's move it over a little bit more. Oh, I didn't have to go that far with that one, but that's fine. Reselect my brush after I pan and down. Okay, that part's done. Let's move down. What other details we got here? Oh, we got to go up the arm. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so I've just got everything done in the bottom. Nope, I don't. I need, that's why it's good to go out. I got to put a line in here. Got to get a little bit more details in here. Yep, perfect. Okay, now let's go up to the hair and the head. Oh, there's another line stitches I should have put in there. So we're going to have a few unnecessary trims after, but again, not a big deal. This part is just like, exactly like drawing on a screen, creating artwork to print out on paper. You just take your time. There you go. Put that. Whoops, I lifted my pen up again. Not a big deal. Just carry on. I don't think that hit it properly. Let's get in. Let's zoom in a little closer on that one. Okay. Again, I grab my tool. Reselect my brush. There, that's what I wanted to do. Okay, don't forget that little bit of a nose there. Bottom of the ear. Let's move over to the hand. I think that's the last of the steel stitches I got to do here. Okay. Right. Remember, it looks pretty thick on the screen, but I know it's only going to be a 2mm steel stitch. Okay, now we back up. See if we forgot anything. Yeah. Let's put that 3D on. Looks pretty thick, but like I said, it's only a 2mm steel stitch. So let's bring that in a little further, a little further. Perfect. Okay, I think that's it. I think I just have to do those few little details after and we're ready to stitch out. Okay, let's turn off that 3D. Take one more look at it. I'd say all those steel stitches are done. Okay, so let's look at the sequence view. Let's see how many. See, we got quite a bit of objects in there. But since I separated them from the other colors, I can select all of them. And I've only selected the steel stitches. I go to automatic branching and boom, it becomes one object with 13,539 stitches. Oh, look at that. I'm sure you guys probably noticed it when you were looking at it, and I didn't notice it until after, but there is one part I missed there. Not a problem. Let's draw that line in there. Let's connect both of those together. Let's do an automatic branch. And it's done. Okay. So let's go back. Let's close that up. And let's go open this up. So that royal purple is, I could probably, it's all one running stitch. I could probably add the details in on the pencil and then branch that together also. So let's do that. Let's make sure we choose our right color. When I lay it down, it's going to be below the black, but I can move it up after. So let's zoom into that area. We want to put that detail in. Let's grab our brush again. Okay, I'm going to throw a few line stitches in there. Back and forth. Back and forth. Down, up. Back and forth. Okay, good. So I'm going to grab those stitches and I'm going to move those up to there. Put that together, branch them together, they become one object. Beautiful. Okay, so I have avoided an unnecessary trim, whoops, an unnecessary trim there. But this one here, that is going to be a necessary trim. So I'm going to turn off spot to anchors. I'm going to grab my run stitch and I'm going to go back and forth here. Slightly making it slightly thicker at the middle, bringing it together at the ends, give it that curved effect, and then I'm going to do this around here. There we go. Okay, so now I can turn that to black. Actually, I want to move that up. I want to move that up. I'll branch that together. And then I want to move that all, change that all to black. Okay, I think I'm done here. Let's see, how's that look? I think that there is going to be pretty representational of what it's going to look like stitched out. I think that's going to look really good. I'm going to save that puppy. I'm going to set it out as a PES file onto my USB drive and take it over to the machine and stitch it out.